So in a rather odd sequence of events, Obsidian has to some degree actually come to the defense of Bethesda, probably in the most removed way possible, but they certainly have. If you guys haven't been following it, Game Informer has a ton of exclusive content coming out around the Outer Worlds, Obsidian Entertainment's next game. The two people leading it up are actually the creators of Fallout, and the CEO of Obsidian himself actually worked on Fallout New Vegas, so there's a lot of comparisons being made between the Outer Worlds and the Outer Worlds trailer, and how similar or different it'll be to Fallout New Vegas or even some of the later Bethesda-made Fallouts. If you're more interested in that game, I posted several videos on it, you can check those out, but today we actually got an interesting update from Game Informer on behalf of the people over at Obsidian. The article itself saying Obsidian isn't happy with fans bashing Bethesda and Fallout 76. In the Game Informer article, they actually have a couple of takes from various people at Obsidian on this subject. One such one being the CEO of Obsidian regarding people's reaction to the Outer Worlds trailer. If you're not familiar, the Outer Worlds trailer debuted right around when the Fallout 76 controversies were approaching their peak velocity, and for that reason, a lot of people took it as an outlet to really stick it to Bethesda and Fallout 76, and they had it in their head that that's what Obsidian was doing. But in this article, the CEO of Obsidian really clarifies that no, that wasn't really their intention, going on to say that he has no ill will for Bethesda and that he actually loves playing Fallout games. We're not fighting for the same dollars, which I don't know if that part's totally true. But even further, we actually heard some from the original creators of Fallout themselves and the co-directors of the Outer Worlds. They specifically highlight how it's actually pretty disheartening how so many people in response to the Outer Worlds trailer referenced Fallout 76 specifically, talking about how it really felt like people were happy that this game was coming out, not because the game itself looked really cool, but rather because it was like sticking it to Bethesda and Fallout 76. They wanted people really to just appreciate their own product for what it was, rather than just appreciate it as it bashes another game. Even further, they go on to say that the fact that the timing of that trailer was pretty much phenomenal for that game was not intentional. It wasn't a strategized thing and just happened to work out that way. If you guys don't recall, the trailer for the Outer Worlds actually dropped during the Game Awards, so they certainly could have planned that well ahead of time. And honestly, I find this entire response to be pretty interesting and noteworthy. Obsidian in the past has actually talked about being willing to work on another Fallout game, and it very much so seems like it's Bethesda that doesn't want them to. Even further, if you're not familiar with the launch of Fallout New Vegas, when Obsidian actually made that game, in order to get a bonus, they required a certain Metacritic score. They missed that score by literally 1 point, so thus Bethesda wasn't contractually obligated to give them that bonus. And in the years following that, Obsidian had some financial difficulties, so a lot of people just assumed there'd be some bad blood there, but this seems to be quite the contrary. You won't find many people defending Bethesda or even being sympathetic towards them nowadays, and Obsidian is literally one of the only people in that corner. But even further, this is pretty interesting because it's yet another thing Obsidian's unhappy about as far as the reception of the Outer Worlds goes. They've actually come out in separate articles talking about how a lot of users are just getting the game wrong. They think it's going to be open world, they think it's going to be a big AAA game and very similar to Fallout New Vegas, way more similar than it actually is. It's pretty interesting how several articles are coming out basically correcting fans, being like, no, this is not actually how we feel or how you should feel. And all in all, I find the situation very, very interesting. It's just not something I was expecting from the Outer Worlds coverage as we're getting it week by week. But moving on, we actually have some other news and details around Fallout 76. One of the latest bugs to actually be brought somewhat into the limelight and to get users' attention is items simply disappearing from their inventory or from their stash. That is obviously a pretty major problem, as well, most people probably want their items and don't want to just lose them. This effectively all stems from one post by a Reddit user named EndTheLaw1, where he effectively compiles a massive list of all the various reports of this bug over the past weeks and months on the Fallout 76 subreddit. And of course, that's just making up a fraction of the total reports. Even beyond that, you also do have the official Bethesda.net forums where a lot of people are reporting the same issues. Despite this seemingly being around for months, if you assume that the cause is the same for everyone, it didn't even so much as make it onto Bethesda's known bug list. One of the interesting parts about this is, it seems like there's quite a few different issues out there, well documented by the community, has several bug reports made officially to Bethesda, and then also posts made on various forums that simply aren't getting recognized. Obviously, this post in particular really brought it into the limelight, but a lot of the other posts of people's individual reports also got quite a bit of attention. It's not like all of them were totally ignored or got no responses. But even further, I feel like this is just another one of those things that you see pop up of issues converting a single player single-player game to multiplayer. There have been so many issues in this transition that I really question as to when they will end, if ever. Even beyond that, serviceability continues to be a major issue in this game, and we're talking 3 months later. Pretty much every single update talks to some degree about increasing or improving server stability, yet it's not really having the biggest impact. Although the silver lining is, it certainly seems like Bethesda community managers have been more active and responsive to these issues, actually addressing people's concerns and even just their questions. A lot of people have been wondering, hey, where's this roadmap you guys have been talking about for over 2 weeks at this point? We got a response around that, saying that it is being finalized and they're hoping to share it soon. Putting further that they want to be detailed without giving away too many spoilers as to what the future content and DLC will be. And my reaction to this, I just still don't understand how it's taking so long. It's been over 2 weeks and it just doesn't seem like creating a roadmap would take that long if somebody was actually working on it each day. I understand the idea of not wanting to spoil too much of the future game content, but at the same time, I feel like maybe you put that aside just based on how the community is reacting right now. People desperately want to know whether this game is going to survive through even 2019, and I think a roadmap is a pretty good step in assuring that. But in case you are looking for other new content in the game, the Atomic Shop just got some new items today, so it has that going for it. And one other story, actually, a lot of you guys have been messaging me about wanting me to cover. Several other news outlets have been talking about somebody that glitched into one of the vaults in Fallout 76 accidentally and begs Bethesda not to be banned. I'm not really sure why this suddenly became new and noteworthy. If you guys remember, I literally made a video about the content of all of these vaults, what you could find on the interior like a month ago now, so if you want to check out that video. But effectively, yes, we've known for a while these vaults are going to be future DLC. It's going to effectively work like a DLC dungeon that you do clear out with a team of your friends. There's been a glitch in Fallout 76 for quite a while now, where basically you can fast travel to a Horde event. These are things that just randomly pop up around the map, and sometimes it'll accidentally put you inside one of these vaults. Vault 63 in particular seems to be one of the major proponents of this, and that's kind of the whole thing. The guy got paranoid that Bethesda might ban him as a result, which is fairly understandable if maybe he didn't follow the news too closely. He just heard about other people being banned for duping, and this is, I guess, similar in his eyes. But in my own experience, I haven't heard of a single person being banned for getting into these vaults, and again, this is one of the accidental ways, but there's several intentional ways that you can gain entry. Either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. A little bit of a shorter one, but I still think certainly some interesting details, especially how Obsidian is talking around Fallout 76. If you guys did enjoy this, you can leave a like or subscribe, but with that, I do hope to see you guys all next time. Later.